Hey everybody, Rob Saxton here. I'm here with Marisol Jimenez, and really glad to be here today. And really, we're just a few days after Martin Luther King Day, and in my mind we have a little bit of a celebration, which is really cool. A few years ago, 3-4 years ago, in this agency, we started really being purposeful about thinking about equity and the professional development that comes along with it. And to be honest, I felt like we were a little bit behind our school districts and that we weren't really prepared. We weren't really in a place where we could think about and embrace some of the principles of equity in a deep enough way in order to move forward, because I didn't think that we collectively understood it or appreciated it well enough to really be thoughtful about what we were going to do. In fact, there's a little bit of a pushback, and some struggle when you start doing that kind of work, and we were really there. But I think we're really past that. And so today we are announcing a new department here at the ESD called the Department of Equity and Inclusion.
Equity, diversity, and inclusion.
There we go. See, that's why we have the experts. And Marisol is our director of that department, and I just wondered if you could share a little bit about that.
Probably the first thing I want to share as the new equity director is just an expression of gratitude. I want to say thank you to not only our superintendent, but to our board, to our leadership team, and to everyone here at Northwest Regional ESD. Say thank you for making equity really at the center and at the core of everything that we do in our organization.
So, I think that's a really nice sentiment, and I'm glad that you said it, because I really feel like the work that we do around this is super personal. I mean, it's about who we are and kind of how we think about ourselves and how we move through the world, right? And I think the biggest component early on is really understanding you and your own racial identity and others and their racial identity, and sort of loving that, or both of those at the same time. And once you get past that, then you can start to really think about equity in a deeper way. Mm-hmm. But I don't know how many years ago it was, I really didn't think of myself as a person with a race. I was a norm, right? A normal person, a white person in America. And it takes a little while to wrap your head around that so that you can start to make some progress on some really complex issues.
And it's a real challenge to think in a completely different way. One of the things that has really stood out for me as we've done this work, now we've been doing it for 6 years formally in our organization, is hearing the testimonials from largely white people who come and say things like, I used to believe that the norm or normal was people who looked like me, looked like Rob, people who were white, female or male. And to hear them say things like, and you know what, I see things completely different now. My eyes were really opened. I've had the opportunity through these experiences, and many of them were challenging, to say, you know what, not necessarily that they were lied to, but that a big part of history was never told to them. And they're just seeing how they opened their eyes and could say, I see things very differently now. I feel like I have a better idea as to what history truly was like. And just watching them go through that experience has been amazing for me. So we've certainly seen folks take a very personal journey. It is very, very personal. It's about you. It's about how you see the world, how you were raised, what you were told, and checking that now. But there's power in that too, and there's a lot of hope in that. And I smile when I say that because it's exciting. We are now at the point where people stand in this space and move it forward, and to see them take actions that they wouldn't necessarily have taken before, that's pretty exciting.
It is, and as an ESD, we always need to be a leader. We always need to be ahead of the curve with where our districts are and with other groups of thinking. We have a space as an ESD that allows us to do our work that way. Sometimes districts don't. They have all these community pressures and all these things that rub up against them in really hard ways. And so it gives us a chance to be a leader without some of those rub points. And when we can do that and lead our districts in a really nice and strong way around all kinds of things, but especially I think in and around equity, it makes us valuable to our districts in a really different way. And the whole part of this, for us as an education group, is All the stuff about our own personal journeys and stuff, that's all really nice. But at the end of the day, if what we don't get to is that we began to ourselves and to help the districts that we serve students in better and more unique ways based on who they are and how they show up, that helps them be more successful, then there's sort of really no reason to do it, right? Feeling great about it isn't our purpose. Changing lives is our purpose. And I believe that with the work that we've done and now our capacity to help lead our districts and engage with them, we're going to make a difference for the kind of education that kids in our districts, and especially students of color, are able to get, but really all kids, because this is about all of us. Mm-hmm. And our white kids have some things to learn too that will make them better and stronger people as they move forward into their future.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is really important to remember why we do this work.
So recently we adopted a new board policy.
Yes.
What was it in that board policy? It was around equity. What was it in there that was interesting to you in particular? I know I have one thing.
Well, for me, I think the importance of that and the policy itself, it was really making a strong statement to the state, to districts in our region, to students, to staff. What we were really saying is, we stand for equity and equitable policies. We believe that, a student's zip code or the color of their skin should not determine their success or failure in school. That was powerful. And I also want to say that there's some particular language that really resonated with me in that policy. And the board actually adopted a policy that specifically said we are working to be a multicultural, anti-racist organization. And to hear, we're saying this in a mainstream, we're an educational service district. We're tax supported. And for the board to say, this is really important to us, we want to make sure we're calling that out and everybody understands that, and this is what we're all working towards, was really a powerful moment.
Right. And I agree, and I just want to thank the board for their part in that, their thoughtfulness, the debate and discussion that they have, and their courage to pick that up. And we certainly are an anti-racist organization. We wouldn't want to be the opposite, that's for sure. And so I think it's really appropriate. So we just wanted to let you know officially, we have this department. Marisol knows the full name. I know two of the three parts. No, I'm kidding. And so Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Department, and Marisol's leading that, and we're really excited about where we are and the future that we're set to create. So thanks for listening today.